And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wa2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. For so many years, New York Jets fans have waited for the page to turn on this team. I'm not even talking about getting to a Super Bowl. I'm talking about getting to be a respectable franchise who can achieve sustainable success. One of the steps to getting there is you beat the teams you need to beat. You show signs of maturity by taking care of business against inferior competition. So after beating Tennessee and New England, two teams that they were certainly better than, in come the Denver Broncos, who the Jets have beat the last 2 years in the Mile High City. Yeah, Denver beat Tampa Bay last week, but hey, big deal. Okay, sure, Denver has a good defense, but what do they have as far as playmakers go? You know, pretty good front seven, but, need a blitz to generate much pressure against this offensive line, which shut down New England. What kind of pressure were they going to get on Aaron Rodgers? So, and of course, the quarterback matchup, it's Aaron Rodgers against bonix. What could go wrong? And for most of the first half, as the rain continued to beat down on the MetLife Stadium turf, it was a sloppy, ugly mess. At one point, I think CBS advertised this one TV show on Nickelodeon called Slime Town. That's pretty much the way to describe this game. Slime Town. Nasty, disgusting. 8 possessions were had before either team got a first down. Denver didn't even get one until 5 minutes were left in the second quarter. 5 minutes were gone in the second quarter, excuse me. And the Jets defense, I have to give them some credit, because they played well, really, except for that one drive, the touchdown drive. Up until that point, Denver had 8 offensive possessions. They had a total of 4 first downs on those 8 possessions. On this one drive where they went the length of the field, 5 first downs. The one time in the whole game they allowed Denver into the red zone, and it culminates in a touchdown pass to Courtland Sutton, and there wasn't even another Jet on the screen with him. And Denver, as the second half goes on, they start running and running and running. Javontewilliams looked like Jordan Mason in week 1 when he was playing for San Francisco. The same Javontewilliams who had been averaging 2.2 yards per carry through 3 games this year suddenly looked reborn. After the Jets took a 9-7 lead, Denver gets the ball back. 4 straight running plays to Javontewilliams. On those 4 plays, he achieved 9 yards, 1 yard, and 16 yards. It led Denver down the field for what would be the eventual game-winning field goal. But what we need to talk about is this New York Jets offense. This offensive line was about as bad as it could have been. If you had to isolate one position group as to the reason the Jets lost the game, it's this group. Maybe Morgan Moses was that much more valuable than we knew. Aaron Rodgers needs to be protected at all costs. And this game, I don't know what they were doing. They allowed 5 sacks and 13 quarterback hits. I am terrified to see the pressure numbers when they came out. And the run game, oh my God. Breecehall, 10 carries for 4 yards. Do you really think that's because Breecehall can't play football anymore? It's because the offensive line couldn't open up one damn hole for him. What were they doing? And these wide receivers, what was happening at the end of the game? The offense looked in complete disarray. Xavier Gipson cannot run a pass pattern correctly. He's not even looking up for the ball. Can we please see Malachi Corley already? He may not be a finished product, but I know when he has the ball in his hands, he can run with it, he can move, he can break tackles. Unless you're going to deactivate him every week, can we give him a chance to play? Can we give him a chance? Not that Nathaniel Hackett would ever know how to use him anyway, though. Just makes me absolutely sick. The play calling on offense was ridiculous. Allen Lazard even saw 4 targets in a row at one point. And this was the up and down of Allen Lazard. Great catches, penalties. He did everything but drop a pass in this game. Garrett Wilson, my gosh, I didn't even know he was on the field in the first half. He fumbles his only target of the first half. He did come back to have one gorgeous catch on the sideline. Mikewilliams, man, he's getting better by the week. 4 catches on 5 targets, including 2 just beautiful, beautiful catches. You are seeing signs from the offense, but when Aaron Rodgers doesn't have time to throw and there's no holes for the running back, it looked like the ghost of Zach Wilson invaded the body of Nathaniel Hackett this weekend. But more than anything, this team beat itself today with penalties. And yes, some of these penalty calls were absolutely pathetic. Allen Lazard getting an unsportsmanlike call was an absolute joke for spinning the ball like this and doing a little first down gesture. Didn't even get a warning like you're supposed to get in the NFL. If that was a Kansas City Chiefs receiver, he probably would have gotten a bonus from the league. Instead, the Jets get a 15-yard penalty. 15 penalties on the day, 13 of which were accepted, and so many of them were pre-snap. How do you take 5 false starts at home? At home! The Jets had 1 false start in the first 3 games. They weren't playing in Lumen Field in Seattle. They weren't playing in some indoor dome where, they were comparing the decibel level to a jet airliner. This was a home game. And they still can't get on the same page? And at one point in this game, the Jets had 40 yards of offense and 41 penalty yards. Good teams don't do that. They don't beat themselves. And the Jets, it's no secret, were the most penalized team in the NFL last year. This year, it had been 22 through 3 games about middle of the road. So they doubled their average in 1 game alone. And how many killers were there? Which leads me to the first play I'm going to mention. The first of 3 plays you may not remember that affected the outcome of the game. 6 seconds into the second quarter, the Jets get the pass interference call to get down to the 1-yard line. And this just goes back to what an absolute buffoon Nathaniel Hackett is. He's even worse than his father. They hand off to breecehall, no gain. They hand off to breecehall again, no gain. They try a pass play, and it falls incomplete. Denver covers it very, very well. And at this point, I am screaming to go for it. Screaming. Even if you don't make the touchdown, even if you don't score, the Denver offense had done absolutely nothing up to that point. They hadn't even gotten a first down. And what happens? John Simpson, beloved by his teammates, bringing the nasty, bringing the snarl to this offensive line. This idiot gets a false start penalty, and the Jets settle for the field goal. Devastating. And at the bar that I'm at this point, the people around me are doing the JETS, Jets, for a field goal when you're on the 1-yard line. Are you crazy? I would have none of that crap. Settling for mediocrity. That is as disappointing a field goal as you could possibly have. And just on a side note, where was Braelon Allen? Where was Braelon Allen in that spot? So on to the second play. This was the final drive. I am just so disgusted by this game that they lost this game. Final drive of the second quarter. Rodgers has just completed the 21-yard pass to Mikewilliams, just a thing of beauty. Rodgers gets 1 yard on a run after Zach Allen pulls him down. And then on 2nd and 9, he feels the pressure coming from around the side, steps up in the pocket, and JohnFranklinmeyers pulls him right down. I put no blame on Elijah Vera Tucker for this. Okay, Rodgers walked into the pressure. And, of course, John freaking Franklin-Myers, thanks again, Joe Douglas. I love you, but what the frick were you thinking with that trade? Pulls him down for a loss of 7. The touchdown hopes are all but dashed at that point. They settle for another field goal. The third play of the game, I'm going to skip all the way to the end of the game. It was the final offensive play that the Jets had. After they got an act of God by Will Lutz missing his first kick of the season, and the Jets have a chance to come back and pull out a miracle. The Jets start to move the ball down the field. They have a 3rd and 6 on the Denver 32. And Aaron Rodgers at this point is not walking right. The pressure is getting to him every single play. I am begging them to give the ball to Braelon Allen. Think about this, guys. There are 56 seconds to go in the game. That's a lot of time. You're on the Denver 32. My thought is get some more yards, run right up the middle. Braelonallen will get 3, 4, 5 yards falling forward. Make it easier for Gregzuerlein. Run the clock down. It gives Denver less time to come back down the field. And freaking Hackett calls for a pass. An incomplete pass intended for Mikewilliams. And after that, on comes Legatron. You talk about a kicker stealing money with 2 absolutely ridiculous missed field goals. One last week, the short one, and then the clutch kick. Most of the kickers in this league are drilling 55, 60-yard field goals in their sleep. I don't want to hear about a wet field. Gregzuerlein comes on the field and does his best Kari Vedvik or Doug Bryan impression. The ball never looked close, and the Jets fall to 2-2, losing to a garbage Denver team. And we look at the final stats in this game. Denver finished 3 for 4 on third down. Denver finished 3 for 14. The Jets 4 for 17. They had been converting, I believe it was about 60% of their third downs. They couldn't even convert 25% today. Passing yards, Denver 60, the Jets 184. That's net yards, not factoring in the sacks. The rushing yards, Jets 64, Denver 126. Penalties, Denver 5, Jets 13. That's just accepted penalties. The Jets beat themselves. I'm going to do a quick recap of my bold predictions before I do a final summary and I get out of here. The Jets defense, I predicted they would be held to 3 sacks or less. Try a big fat goose egg. And only 2 quarterback hits as well. WillMcDonald did get credit for a few pressures. Good job by him. But this was a game where, again, not having Jermaine Johnson, not even having like a Lecky Fotu in the middle, really, really hurt. I said Sauce Gardner would have a pick. I predicted Tyler Conklin would score a touchdown. That's funny. I predicted breecehall would break off a run of 40 yards. How stupid am I sometimes? I predicted Garrett Wilson would have under 40 yards or less receiving. He had 41. I got that wrong by 1 freaking yard. And I predicted a 27-13 Jets win. Shame on me for believing in this team again and getting it shoved right up my rear end. And now it's off to London to face a Vikings team that hasn't lost yet. They nearly blew the game to Green Bay today, but they hung on. The Sam Darnold revenge game part 2. Don't forget the game. Yeah, that's 2 fingers. Don't forget the Carolina opener years ago with that long bomb to Robbie Anderson when the Panthers beat the Jets. How much fun is Darnold going to have this week? How is this offensive line going to do against a Vikings defense that has 2 players in the top 5 in sacks? And Sam Darnold, yeah, they say wear and tear. He'll be fine. He's going to get in the hot tub. They better put some braces on his knees. They better put his legs in bubble wrap going across the pond. Tyronsmith, by the way, looks done. Nick Bonito had his way with him on numerous occasions in this game. The signing made all the sense in the world. You try to get 1 year out of a future Hall of Fame left tackle, but I think you're looking at another Ronnie Lott, Ed Reed, Frank Gore, the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater, the Hall of Famer who comes to the Jets. And the Jets try to get a year out of him, try to get him to turn back the clock, but you're looking at a relic, at a shell of a once great player. It's getting to the point down the road, I would not be shocked to see Fashanu take over at left tackle and Morgan Moses plays right tackle. It would not surprise me. But this is what we're used to seeing the Jets do when they give us hope. I believe they would win this game. I thought they were a better team at just about every position, just about. And they came out once again undisciplined and unprepared. Hallmarks of the Robert Saleh era. This is on the coaching staff, especially the head coach and the offensive coordinator. For the offense to still be this out of whack, especially in the big moments. For them to block this poorly after doing so well last week. And I even had a couple of I'll say friends. I'm going to use the word very loosely right now, the way that I'm feeling. Saying, yeah, Adam, this is your same old attitude. You know, you're angry, you're livid, you're pissed off, you're depressed. How the F am I supposed to feel right now losing to a garbage team like this? Denver is a bottom 5 team in football, talent-wise. If that pisses people off, I don't give a shit. And the Jets lose at home. Now they go into the gauntlet. Minnesota, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. You could easily be looking at 3-4, and that's if they're lucky. Because why should I believe? I know things change over the course of an NFL season. Teams figure it out. Injuries have all kinds of things can change. Week to week, you never know what's going to happen. But what evidence do I have that Robert Saleh will ever be the head coach that takes the Jets where they want to go, that takes them not to over 500, to the playoffs, let alone being a legitimate playoff contender? Because when you are this undisciplined over and over again with these effing stupid lack of focus penalties, what else can you do but blame the head man in charge? Joe Douglas, general manager, I love you. You have done a lot of things well. A lot of things well. But he screwed up royally in 2 ways. He drafted the wrong quarterback, and until proven otherwise, he signed the wrong head coach. At least the Mets won a game. Yeah, now they could rip my heart out in Atlanta tomorrow too. All right, guys, I'm just so disgusted. I think I'm going to go drink for a little while. I've got a little Crown Royal in the cabin. I think I might open that up tonight. Everybody have a great rest of your day. I'll see you for the Wednesday night live show, 6 p.m. Eastern. Maybe we'll vent a little more. We'll try to turn the page. Maybe you guys will talk me off the ledge. I don't know. I'll see you right back here. More content from you nowhere. The Wicker Chair.